Things I'd rather do. Travis Wayne Goodsell, pausing on my Sawyer Brown to tell you about a little story about me and why I'm not pursuing defending the church as the true Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. As I'm sure those of you who are regulars know, I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew, and I deciphered Egyptian petroglyphs. Egyptologists have only been focusing since Jean Champollion with the Rosetta Stone in translating the text. They've never made the connection that the Egyptian petroglyphs also can be translated, even though the text is the same characters from petroglyphs, and thus the grammars by Budge and Gardner and others are incomplete because they do not include the petroglyph characters. And so some of them are in the text, but not all of them. For example, Osiris is in different poses and dress and scenes that have him in different interpretations because of that, but they're not captured in the grammar. And so as I pursued my research and found out that Joseph Smith was accurate in what he was doing, which was the same style of translation that the biblical authors, both of the Torah, the Gospels, and other stories in the Old Testament, were doing that same pattern. For example, the book of Esther is not from Egyptian petroglyphs, but taken from Mesopotamian stories, glyphs. Esther is Ishtar, the goddess of Mesopotamia, and Mordecai, Marduk. And so you have Hebrew, which most likely was Aramaic for the book of Esther, and so they used the alphabetical script to tell the story of Mesopotamia, which, depending on which time period you're referring to, used different forms of language. And so Egyptian does not have an alphabet. It was created by the Greeks in many lifetimes later. They destroyed, beaten down, only the corpses are leveled, ashes of dreams and blood-stained streets. It has been written that those who hold the youth have the future. So come now, children. So, yeah, Egyptian is a completely different language than Hebrew. And so when the papyri gets restored to the Brighamite Church, rather than the ones who had owned it and gave it to the Chicago Museum, David O. McKay, I'm not a translator. Here, Hugh Nibley, you deal with it. I don't know how to translate it. Here, Egyptologists of the world, you translate it and prove the church is true. We don't find the Hebrew name Abraham in the text of the Joseph Smith papyri. I don't think they're from the South. If my accent was even somewhat decent enough to be recognized as Southern. But there's no way the church was going to escape from this because they don't have the key of translation. They got exposed as frauds. But I didn't know that. They don't tell us Mormons when we grow up in the church. They say, follow the prophet. He won't lie. Yeah. And so I pursued the ancient languages. That's what Joseph Smith did. I wanted to be like Joseph Smith. He's my role model, especially when he's sarcastic. So, yeah, that's where I get it from. It's from Joseph Smith, and Mormons hate me for it. You're being mean and sarcastic. Your tone. Well, you don't know the words of Joseph, do you? Or the words of Elijah, or the words of Jesus in Matthew chapter 23. I mean, Scripture is full of sarcastic people. And so, yes, they are all my role models. And so, when I pursued ancient studies and made decipherments, I then come back and, well, I recall, and then I know where to look in the Book of Mormon. And so here we have 1 Nephi chapter 19, verse 10. And the God of our fathers who were led out of Egypt. So there's your first indicator, Egypt. Out of bondage, and also were preserved in the wilderness by him, yea, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzhak, and the God of Jacob, yieldeth himself according to the words of the angel as a man into the hands of wicked men, to be lifted up according to the words of Enoch. Which Old Testament prophet is that? Doesn't exist. And to be crucified concerning the 3 days of according to the words of Nehum. Which Old Testament prophet is that? Doesn't exist. And to be buried in a sepulchre according to the words of Zenos. Which biblical Old Testament prophet is that? Doesn't exist. Which he spake concerning the 3 days of darkness, which should be a sign given of his death unto those who should inhabit the isles of the sea, more especially given unto those who are of the house of Israel. And so Mormon apologists are looking all over trying to find, we got to find the exact name and blah blah blah, and they don't get it. They're not going to find it. What you need to do instead is find the prophecy, not the man, the prophecy, and that's what I did. It's in the Egyptian documents. Led out of Egypt. Brass plates, that's where they're getting this from. Remember? They got the brass plates from Laban. Nephi slices off his head, imitating him as a 10-year-old boy. And so the brass plates contained Egyptian writing about more than what our Old Testament contains. And it's from the Egyptian documents. And sure enough, I found this. Lifted up according to the words of Enoch. Crucified according to the words of Nehum. Buried in a sepulchre according to the words of Zenos. They're all in the Egyptian documents. So you'd think the church would embrace me. No. I was labeled a troublemaker. How dare I have the key of translation when Brigham Young didn't even take it with him after the murder of Joseph Smith. So, yeah, I was thinking, hey, the Book of Mormon is confirmed here. But does that mean that the Book of Mormon is an ancient historical document taken from these brass plates that are talked about in the Book of Mormon? No, I could not make that leap, that conclusion leap. All I knew is that, hey, they're talking about Egyptian stuff. Sure enough, I found this Egyptian stuff in the Egyptian documents. That's all I can confirm. So now let's go to another scandal in the Book of Mormon that a few Mormons have caught on to, but not everyone. Adam fell that man might. Only one. 2 Nephi chapter 2, verse 25. Adam fell that men might be. Men are that they might have joy. Get your printed copy and go through all of the Book of Mormon indexed passages about Adam. Because they don't have Eve, I don't believe. So you have to go to Adam. Adam fell, 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 Adam fell. And you getting the point? What are we taught in the church? What are we taught in the temple? Adam fell? So let me take you to the Doctrine and Covenants. And with this ring I promise you everything that I can do. Verse 36 in section 29. And it came to pass that Adam, just Adam, being tempted of the devil. Is that Eve? No. No. As much as some men want to say, yeah, my wife is evil. No. No. For behold, the devil was before Adam. For he rebelled against me, saying, give me thine honor. It's Lucifer. It's not Eve. Let's see. And then it goes several verses to talk about the devil. Verse 40. Wherefore it came to pass that the devil, Lucifer, not Eve, tempted Adam. And he, the pronoun is he, it's not she, he partook of the forbidden fruit and transgressed the commandment, wherein he became subject to the will of the devil, and because he yielded unto temptation. Adam, where art thou? I heard thy voice and hid myself because I was naked. Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou partaken of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, of which I commanded thee not to partake? The woman thou gavest me, and commanded that she should remain with me, she gave me of the fruit of the tree, and I did eat. Eve, what is this thou hast done? The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. Lucifer, what hast thou been doing here? I have only been doing that which has been done on other worlds. Lucifer, because thou hast done this, thou shalt be cursed above all the beasts of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust thou shalt eat all the days of thy life. If thou cursest me for doing the same thing which has been done on other worlds, I shall take the spirits that follow me, and they shall possess the bodies thou createst for Adam and Eve. I will place enmity between thee and the seed of the woman. Thou mayest have power to bruise his heel, but he shall have power to crush thy head. Then with that enmity I will take the treasures of the earth, and with gold and silver I will buy up armies and navies, false priests who oppress, and tyrants who destroy, and reign with blood and horror on this earth. Depart. Slam. If you get a good guy in the Salt Lake Temple to slam the door, because you have to be there. And so, yeah, Eve didn't fall. Adam did. Adam fell. It's repeated over and over again by Joseph Smith with the Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants. Adam fell. And so I confirmed this, and I did a video on it, which my bishop said, "That's the final straw, Travis. I tolerated your Egyptian and Hebrew research, but this is going too far. Why do you bother coming to church?" Okay, bye. Nobody threatens me like that, and so I'm no longer a member of the church. But I confirmed this with the Egyptian documents. But does that mean that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is true? Which it's only then my bishop, who's the rogue rebel in the church, who's trying to destroy Mormons? Well, yeah, he's that too, but... But do you see the point? Is that just because I confirm that Joseph was correct when he said that the original doctrine and scriptures come from Egypt, that doesn't mean that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints here in Utah under the Brighamite prophets are the true church. I can't make that assumptive leap. And that's what Mormons don't understand. And that's why I didn't leave the church, is because I was saying, hey, wow, this is awesome connections. Maybe there is something to all this. I never studied church history, which is essential in understanding whether this Brighamite church is the true succession of Joseph Smith. You have to know the succession crisis and establish, did Brigham Young do it properly, or did he violate the commandments and the scriptures that gave instructions as to how to properly succeed according to God's will? The answer is no, he did not. And so, it doesn't matter. But does it mean that the Book of Mormon is true? A true history of the American Indians? Again, no, that's an assumptive leap. Because plagiarism confirms that the Book of Mormon is not a history. But yet it's clear that the information contained in the Book of Mormon is true. Not a true history of the Native American Indians, but the information is true from Egyptian. And so then you have to do research specific to what you're trying to establish. And Mormons don't do that. They're not educated in that field to do so. And so Mormons just blindly follow because they were born and raised into the church and have assumed, oh, we're the true ones, everybody else is false. So, understand this, because apologists don't get it. They just lie. And understand that I'm not the enemy of Joseph Smith. I'm his greatest defender, because I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. I deciphered Egyptian petroglyphs. I've confirmed the Egyptian. When the Book of Mormon, this passage in Doctrine and Covenants, son Ammon in the Doctrine and Covenants, that also is from Egyptian. I've confirmed the Book of Abraham, that he was translating the facsimiles, not the text. But if you don't understand, if you don't have the knowledge, if you didn't do the research, you're going to be clueless. And you can't go around saying you know the church is true, because you're bearing false witness. And so the church distracts you, saying, oh, read about all of Jesus Christ's works. Come to know Jesus from the scriptures. Yeah, but we're also saying that it's a true history of the American people in the Book of Mormon. That's the distraction. They don't want you to study the history. They don't want you to find out that there are other books that the Book of Mormon plagiarize. They want you to distract away from that. They say only church-approved curriculum. Stay away from the world. Those evil September 6. Those evil LDS critics. That evil Mormon who confirmed Joseph is correct. Who we dare not say his name, but we are preparing to flee because he's got us by the balls in his lawsuit against us. Still nothing from yesterday on the court decision. And so, yeah, please, Mormons, just stop. You stop. Quit doing that. I know you are, but what am I? Quit doing that. You're an evil, apostate, antichrist, blah, blah, blah. Because it's you guys. You expose yourself because you make false accusations against me. You just humiliate yourself. Just stop it. Don't tell me to stop and have me silenced. You came to me to threaten me. You're the ones who are the first you're the first strikers. First Blood. That's the Sylvester Stallone series that ended with Last Blood. That's what Jesus is talking about in his Sermon on the Mount. Don't be guilty of first blood. When they smite you on your right cheek, your right cheek, they are slapping you, backhanding you, because they use their right hand. You can't punch somebody on their right cheek. You punch them on their left. That's why Jesus says, turn the left cheek. Oh yeah, you want to fight? Go ahead. I'll give you the first blow. And then I'll have a court order ready for you in the Jewish courts. And you're going to be busted. That's what Jesus was teaching. He was teaching law. That's the Sermon on the Mount. It's a law document. How to get people in trouble who hate you and want you dead. Get them to draw first blood. And I did that in 2008. And they did it. They hit me on my left cheek. And I disappeared. And now I'm back. And now that I've won the lawsuit. We're just waiting for the judge to sign the orders, and the church has got their planes all revved up, ready to take off and flee the country to a non-extradition country with their trillions of dollars that they can just press a button and transfer it to an offshore bank account. So, yeah, just stop, Mormons. Stop making the assumptive leaps. I knew better. You need to know better.